Hey everybody, hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to another LAGFX Sunday session. If you're new to the channel, if you've never watched one of these videos before, me and Luke just go through the Forex markets. We pick a couple of currency pairs each, do our analysis and show you what it is we're looking for in the coming trading week, and then you can obviously take that away yourself and try and take away the analysis we've done, the ideas, the concepts of what we're seeing in those markets to potentially aid you when it comes to analysing and trading the market yourself in the coming week as well. So before we really dive in and get on with the analysis in itself, just wanted to spend a quick few seconds to remind you all to check out the LAGFX website if you haven't done so already. I know we don't plug it very much, but if you sign up and subscribe onto the LAGFX website, all you have to do is put your email in, subscribe. What that does is it creates an account on there where you can earn badges, you can talk in groups, you can talk in forums between yourselves and the community. But most importantly, every time we're doing special offers, special deals, special giveaways exclusive to site members, you will get an email notification of that and you will be able to take advantage of that as well. So just wanted to throw that out there, but without further ado, let's jump into the market. So first off, looking at the euro to US dollar, as per usual, this is usually the market I start off on, and we see that we've been following bearishness now for a very, very long time with a lot of downside volatility. So obviously the retracement all the way up to these points seems to be out the window. There's still too much downside volatility, still way too much supply in the market. So just focusing on price action as of recent, we've been breaking structure. We see that within this most recent move down, what's happened is we've left over two regions in the market that I saw as unmitigated supply zones as of recent. So within the last few hours, funnily enough, what price has done is it's come to tap into one of the zones I had highlighted, where we've had some liquidity built, liquidity cleared, a change of character, reversal lower, and I'm watching now for price to trade us back up and potentially tap into here, where I'll be looking to find sell entries to take price down to at least the previous low in the market, if not holding a slight bit of that position for a longer term sell position, as I believe this market is bearish for the foreseeable future. If upon failing that, we maybe go a slight bit higher, that's when I'd be looking at this zone to then take price lower again. So we can see just overall this market is heavily bearish. There's so much supply in the market, but what is worth noting on a slightly higher time frame, I'm not sure which time frame we'll be able to view this on, potentially the daily, we have just broken the previous market low within the past few days, I'd say. So what that means to us is that as of right now, arguably at any point moving forward, price could reverse for a correctional wave, because we have created that lower low and therefore we don't have any downside target in the short term that we can look for, whereas it was previously the final target of this low. Now that we have broken that, we can expect a correctional wave at any point moving forward. So we have to be slightly cautious, and when we see some change of characters to the upside, just be aware of what position we are in within the market longer term. But as I stated, as of right now, I believe it is much more likely that we are to just continue trading lower because of the price action we've been seeing, because of the clear supply that is controlling the market. I think the wisest thing for us to do is to just continue to look for these supply zones to get involved with and try and catch some of this downside volatility that we're experiencing. So that is about it for the Euro US dollar. Moving on now to the US dollar to Japanese yen. Another brilliant market actually, and we see that what's been happening here is it's following my analysis very perfectly. So an update I actually plastered all over social medias because it's something I've been watching since the original tap on the 1st of July, so last week, or a week today exactly. And what happened is we had the overall zone tap, change of character, came back down, accumulated within another identified zone. And what happened within this accumulation is that no real entries could have been found because we had a very high volume push up, and therefore after this happened we identified another two zones that price may react to. We see it's wicked into that. If we go into the lower time frame, we can find multiple areas of entry within this region. So what's happened is after the overall demand zone tap, change of character delivered, we come back down to tap into demand zones 1, 2, 3 times, if not more, where all of which entries could have been found. After that price took off, we obviously broke the previous market high, confirming that we are wanting to continue bullish, or confirming that we are going to be bullish moving forward. I updated the market winners around this point. We see prices come back down and tapped us into a last sell to buy, even the more refined last sell to buy that's happened there. It's done so quite nicely again, where we've had some liquidity built at this region. The tap and clearance of liquidity, a change of character after we break that high. And then what we could have done at that point is looked inside of this region here for any demands we could look to get involved with, which I'm seeing a few wicks here that would act as a sell to buy. POI demand, we can even go to a lower time frame if we want to try and confirm that further. If it's going to let me do so. It is not, is it? Okay, if you bear with me 1 second, all we really need to do here is just hide this in the object tree, look back over at this region and say, yeah, a very nice sell candle there. We can see a sell to buy. Everything else lower has been mitigated. We see that the wicks come back down to mitigate, but after this move, we see some market inefficiency. So that is a valid zone we could have been watching. Change of character, tap back in. We could have found an entry there. Moving forward, we may have even been able to find even more entries, really. But the main thing that we're focusing on is that longer term, I've wanted to be a buyer in this market for a very long time now because of the overall bullishness this market has showed us. Because we know that longer term, looking in terms of the monthly, weekly time frame, we are within a markup. So that means a lot of demand is still dominant, is still present in the market, and therefore getting in longs is what our higher time frame bias dictates. So we've had plenty of opportunities here, many demand zone taps on both the fractal and slightly higher time frame structure. So there's many points where we could have found a very good entry, and therefore we could be involved in multiple profitable buy positions as of right now. Now moving on to another market, I think we're just going to look here at the Great British Pound to Japanese Yen. Go to a slightly higher time frame again. This is a market I've been watching again for a long time. In here, we found many supply zone taps where we could have found some good sell entries. Failing that, what's happened is we still have a remaining zone that was originally a refined zone, but obviously looking at that as the buy to sell candle, another zone in there as well. We see that after breaking this, so still following the fractal bearishness, obviously my idea being now that this should, in terms of fractal structure, be a protected high. This is still the final target, as this is the previous market low that is our target to run that liquidity to continue bearishness. And therefore, this is the impulsive wave. These are two zones that we are now approaching. So just hoping to see price trade up, find some liquidity get built, clearance of liquidity, a change of character lower to indicate the reversal, and then potential sell entry. So just to zoom in, that's exactly why I've identified these two regions. They're both just buys to sells that have yet to be mitigated with slight inefficiencies alongside of it. So they're the reason I'm looking for sells in that region. I have my alerts set. I should actually probably add the alert to this one as well. So if price does come up and trade and tap us into that zone, we know then, okay, let's look at this market. Let's try and find entry confirmation to follow that bias. So just to touch up a bit more, I've had a few questions about how I'm confirming an entry and how we know that an entry is somewhat valid given our strategy. My checklist is, as I state quite often, let's say price is now trading us up to this point of interest. The first thing I want to see is liquidity built up below the zone. So as we see, this entire region here is acting as a concentrated area in the market where a lot of liquidity lies. A lot of stop losses are lying around this region, and therefore that is a target to the institutions, smart money operators, who are seeing these regions of concentrated liquidity on their screens and are wanting to run that to help them with their overall goals. What we're then going to see is clearance of that liquidity, and within that, after breaking this high, this becomes a protected low, and eventually we're probably going to see price eventually come and break that, delivering a change of character. So what we want to see is we want to see liquidity built up below the zone, a high volume candle introduced to clear that liquidity, and it's typically within that high volume push that we're going to come and mitigate a refined zone. And then after that, we have the change of character of the previous low, the break of the previous low. We can either get involved straight after that break, or we could be taking this region as another buy to sell, wait to see price traders back up, see the same thing on a very fractal time frame, and then get involved and look to ride that short. So Just think of liquidity creation, liquidity clearance, high volume being introduced, and then a change of character. And those are the main things to be watching out for when price taps into a point of interest, to try and confirm early on if the reversal is valid. But I think there I've covered 3 markets there. Pretty much the only 3 markets I'm watching, the 3 markets that to me look nice and tradable in this coming week, and ones I will be watching. I have my alerts set at the zone, so I'm just waiting for price to come and tap into that. If you want more information on these, what I've been doing on a daily basis in the LAGFX Learning Lounge is actually posting through how the analysis is playing out, as well as how we could have looked to enter in on that analysis. Of course, this isn't live. This is usually slightly after the moves happen, because it's exclusive to the VIP chats where I'm showing how I'm tackling the markets live. Otherwise, it would just devalue the service that the VIP clients are pretty much paying for. So obviously there's that. But nonetheless, if you are looking to get involved with LAGFX, and by no means necessary do you have to pay for any services at all. That is why we provide the Learning Lounge. There's still a lot of information you can take away, and we still provide analysis that you can find useful and look to implement in your own charts and own trading. So make sure to get involved with the Learning Lounge if you're not already. That is probably my best advice. Sign up onto the website. That's enough plastering for now. I'll pass you over to Luke, and I hope you enjoy his analysis.
How are we getting on, people? I hope you're all okay. I hope you enjoyed James's analysis there. I think he's gone over some brilliant points, and it'll be interesting to see how things play out next week. What I'm going to do now is go over 3 of the pairs that I'm looking at trading this week, give you my rundown, and highlight some zones and areas at which we can look to capitalize on. So the markets have been quite weird. Sounds funny to say, but this week especially, the markets haven't been very, how can we say it? They've not really provided us with much structure. It has been very, very volatile, high volume movements in either direction. So it's not given us the best opportunities to be able to actually jump in on those positions, jump in on those trades as such. So I'll be completely honest, I didn't actually trade very much last week. I did have 2 positions, however, that I did analysis for, and the setups were perfect. All we needed to do was wait for price to tap into the points of interest that I had, and then we'd be looking at entering these positions. However, these were activated at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning for me, so I wasn't actually trading at that time. I was obviously fast asleep, so I did actually miss these positions. Now, yes, we could have set pending orders, but with the way I like to trade and my style of trading, I like to have as much confirmation as possible. So setting pending orders obviously holds a bit of risk, because, you know, yes, price could tap in, but it could actually blow through. So we would need price to tap in, show signs of rejection, and then we can look at entering. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating, but we move. I will have put a screenshot up of those 2 positions just so you could see that, you know, they were brilliant positions, held brilliant risk to reward ratios. It was just unfortunate that we missed them. Anyway, getting back to today's analysis, there's 3 pairs that I'm going to be looking at. I've got AUD USD, XAU USD, and Euro JPY. These are the 3 pairs that I've scouted and seen some good potential for. So jumping straight into things, the first pair we're looking at today is the AUD USD market. As we can see, this market is very much bearish. If I just zoom out a little bit, we can see how we've had clear bearish structure being presented. We've had multiple breaks of structure. So this line here actually highlights a structural low in previous data, which was broken. We then had a higher time frame retracement, followed by this new impulse. Now, zooming into more present time, we can see here how we've had price. To me, it looks like it's accumulating. I mean, we've had a low set, and we've had these equal lows met since this. So we've had prices fail to break below this, which to me tells me that price is building or accumulating, basically preparing itself to take and move higher. So I have managed to mark out 3 areas. These are obviously very fractal and smaller areas that we would look to see reversals from. This is the main one I'm looking to see a price reverse from. So we can be looking for those sell positions once price meets this point, shows signs of rejection after penetrating this area. But we could also look for those buy positions. There's no harm in doing that. Yes, we would be trading against the trend, but this is on, we're looking at very high time frames. We're looking at a 4-hour time frame here, so there's plenty of movement that can take place. What I would want to see first and foremost is a break of structure to the upside. Once that is delivered, we can then wait for some kind of retracement, price to just grab any remaining demand left beneath, taking its retracement higher before then reversing longer term for a bearish impulse. So this is how I would see price playing out. So I would want to see a break of structure here. Obviously this is a structural high, as is this, as is this, as is this. So we would want to see a break in this, because this would suggest that all of this, we can then expect price to actually come higher. So a break in structure, price to then come back down. This looks like an unmitigated candle, so probably somewhere around here, and then we can start to look for those buy positions. We want the best, we want the best price that we can get to actually buy into this market. So the lower we can get in, the longer the swing that we can be involved in. So my position would look a little something like this. I would have my stop loss set just below the low of the structural low that's formed, and then we've got a lovely take profit target of around 300 pips. So we're looking at a brilliant risk to reward return here on this. Obviously, things will change and things will alter slightly. I can't, give you exact points, but this is basically how I'm looking to tackle this market. And then obviously after that, as soon as we have the penetration, good signs of rejection, maybe a distribution or a break of structure to the downside, then we can look at getting involved in those longer term sell positions. But yeah, this is my bias for this market. Short term buy, longer term sell. Obviously we are trading a bearish market, so realistically we want to be involved in those sell positions, but there's no harm in taking advantage of a potential buy position up into our point of interest. So now moving over to XAU USD. Very similar to the previous analysis that I gave on AUD USD. We have seen multiple breaks of structure. So we had a smaller break of structure here, smaller time frame break of structure here, and then we've had a higher time frame break of structure. So this confirms longer term bearishness, and there's no, I don't see why price can't continue bearish. I think it's inevitable, if I'm being completely honest. So what we would want to see is price basically come back up. I've marked an area again that has been left unmitigated, and we have some inefficiency here that needs to be cleared. So I would love to see price actually trail back up. So we want to look to get involved in those buy positions right up until this point, and then we can look for those longer term sell positions, which would be very beneficial and could obviously offer us some amazing profits from that. So as we can see here, price has been ranging for some time within this area, so we really need to see a break in this. Now what I look to do when I see a ranging market is I'll go to the highest point and the lowest point, which is this, and as soon as price is broken above or below, I know that price is probably ready to move in either direction, and then we can obviously look to try and capitalize on positions in whatever direction it offers. So there is an unmitigated candle here, a last buy to sell. So I mean, if for any reason price was ready to take that move lower before coming up to our higher point of interest, I don't see why price wouldn't at least come up to this point just to clear all this inefficiency here. So there's definitely this target that we could maybe look as a potential reversal and place to sell. But my thoughts are that price is actually ready to take a higher time frame retracement into this point of interest and then take a move lower. If we're looking at this on the higher time frames, this entire thing realistically is just one swing. So it'd be nice to now see, a large swing taking us back up, and then another large swing obviously taking us lower down, creating a new lower low. So this could be a potential reversal point, although I believe this is the reversal point that holds more value and I can see price coming to. So definitely be looking for those buy positions on XAUUSD. Obviously ensure that you have as much confluence beforehand, so make sure that we are seeing some kind of bullish structure within this market, and we have the right boxes are ticked in order to place those positions. I know one of my mentees at the moment, Troy, he will enjoy this analysis and be appreciative of this analysis because gold is one of his favorite pairs to trade and look at. So I hope you've enjoyed this, Troy, and I hope you can make some profitable trades this coming week. So finally, moving over to the Euro Japanese yen pair. As we can see, this was the trade that I missed out on. So I had this unmitigated area highlighted and I was ready, waiting. I've been waiting all day for this to play out, really. As soon as I had seen that unmitigated area, I was ready and keen. And then, yeah, if we look here, it activated at 1 o'clock. I was fast asleep at this point, so I completely missed the opportunity, which is a shame, but it is what it is. I have highlighted another area here, which price seems to be trailing up to. I would love to see price come up to this point, give us that same rejection, and then we can look to get involved and capitalize on some bearish positions. So I am biased to sell positions on this pair. This market is very much bearish. I am definitely looking for those sell positions. We just need that right confluence and confirmation in order to execute those positions. So yeah, I've got an area highlighted here, 13879. It would be lovely to see price reject from this point, give us the right confirmation, a break of structure, confirmation candles, etc. And then we can look to get involved and capitalize on further sell positions. But yeah, very brief for Euro JPY. Quite simple, to be honest with you. Just look for those sell positions, have the right confirmation, and you should be profitable. Just make sure that your stop loss and take profit are in both realistic areas, but also areas that hold value, and you should be fine. You can't go wrong with this. So yeah, that's going to conclude my analysis and this Sunday sessions video. I hope you've enjoyed. Both me and James have gone over some brilliant pairs, which I think you're more than able to capitalize on this week. If you have any questions, you're unsure about anything, don't forget to leave a comment below. We read all the comments, so we'd be more than happy to reply to anything you're unsure about. If you're not involved in the Learning Lounge group chat, I know James mentioned it earlier, get yourself involved in there, completely free of charge. If you are looking to learn and further broaden your knowledge within Forex, we do offer courses and things like that. I'm not going to go and sell you anything here. Just go and check out the website and see for yourself. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the analysis. Both me and James are wishing you all a profitable week. We'll see you guys in the next Sunday sessions video.